Hello everyone, this is Vishwas Sinha from Elets Technomedia. I'm serving as a sub-editor at BFSI. And today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Vijayant Rai, Managing Director at Snowflake India. We welcome you, sir.
Hi Vishwas, great to meet you all.
Thank you so much,
Nice
sir.
to be here.
So, in order to brief about Mr. Vijayant Rai, Mr. Vijayant is a well-known leader with serving over 25 years in the industry. He's been serving as a business leader in growth, in cloud transformation, and go-to-marketing strategies. Mr. Vijayant is a well-known leader. He has served at the organization of Microsoft India, handling the BFSI department there, and he has also held some leadership positions at Salesforce, SAP, and CA Technologies. Let's have a chat about Indian BFSI and how data is driving into it. So first of all, I would just like to know about, sir, today India is basically data-driven. Everything is just focused on data. So I just wanted to know how BFSI sector is indulging into it and adapting the data technology and AI strategies into it. So would you like to please put the light on it?
Sure. First of all, Vishwas, thanks for having me here. And thanks for the kind introduction. Really appreciate that. You mentioned upfront that India is becoming a data-driven company.
Yes.
Country rather.
Yes.
And that's absolutely true. I mean, if you look at what's happened in the past decade or so, it's been a massive transformation of what we're doing with technology and how technology is driving not only what's happening in the economy, but even areas like digital public goods. Right? You look at Aadhaar, you look at the India stack. Right? It's been an amazing journey again of data-driven transformation.
Yes.
At a scale which is unprecedented globally. BFSI itself has always been probably the first mover in terms of adopting technology, adopting innovation as it happens, and we are seeing that at scale even now. Again, innovations which are supported by policy like the digital public goods like Aadhaar have been pivotal in the acceleration of India's financial inclusion.
Yes.
But also from a point of view of adoption of technology in the financial services sector, right? You can see how UPI has been, has sort of given birth to so many fintechs,
Yes.
unicorns, and all of them now.
Totally.
So we're seeing that led by one policy support. We're also seeing that as newer technologies come to the fore, how financial services companies are utilizing that for customer experience, improving customer experience, for their own employee experiences as well, and overall driving innovation in the businesses too. And we've seen it in banks, we've seen it in NBFCs,
Yes.
we've seen it in insurance companies. Just to give you an example, we work very closely with organizations like Bajaj Allianz General Insurance,
Okay.
right? One of the largest general insurance organizations in the country. They're using the Snowflake platform for their data transformation journey, right?
Okay.
To improve customer experience, customer 360, a lot of things on the employee side as well.
Yes.
But essentially, we see that increasingly, especially as innovations like AI, etc., come to the fore. Financial service organizations are the first to pick it up and bring it into their business for different use cases.
Exactly.
Either on the customer side or their own internal efficiencies and those sort of areas.
Yes. So that's the perfect sort of definition of how India is driving into data-driven technology and AI is managing into BFSI as well.
Yes.
There are some regulatory regulations are also there in the BFSI sector, like you have to push through the regulations in order to get your things done. Like there is Digital Data Protection Act. So how does BFSI industry and finance industry is, transforming to it and making it, what are they doing in order to make it easier, like regulations and all?
So, regulations are extremely important, right? And, as a developing, growing economy, at the scale we are growing,
Yes.
And as we infuse in huge amount of digital, right? And you can see, the amount of number of transactions which are happening on UPI on a daily, monthly, yearly basis. It's humongous. I mean, and just the growth of that. So, it's important that, consumers are protected, as they transact more and more digitally. So regulations in my mind are very important for ensuring that, consumers are protected. There are guardrails for all companies, including tech companies, in terms of how they operate so that, technology is consumed in a safe and trusted fashion.
Exactly.
When we look at, say, somebody like Snowflake here in the area of data and AI, for us, the currency of what we sort of work with customers is essentially trust. right?
Exactly.
And that's where regulation, I think, it plays a very important role. So, today, if you look at financial services, say RBI regulations or SEBI regulations, or if you look at insurance IRDA regulations, we believe that, it's important to comply by that, to ensure that, we provide the frameworks to our customers to know how to comply with those regulations.
Exactly.
At the same time, make use of innovation which is happening there. So today, we have a security team which works very closely to come out with, our point of view as to how do we, say, for example, address a certain new regulatory framework which comes by.
Yes.
And almost tech companies do that, honestly, because it's important to look at and explain to end users as to how, if a new compliance comes, how do you actually comply and how technology can help you there. You mentioned the data protection bill, right? The DPDP bill, etc. Again, extremely important in terms of how data is used. How is it, how does it move around between organizations, between consumers and institutions, etc. And that's where we come in terms of providing a framework to do that. And then securing your data. So, for example, data masking, ensuring that PII information is not compromised.
Yes.
There are technologies available for that. So the beauty is that regulation is there. In my mind, regulation is important from a consumer protection perspective, overall providing that framework under which organizations should be operating. And technology is there to help comply with those regulations and also provide innovation there.
Yeah, perfect point. That technology is streamlining the regulations, basically.
That's right.
In order everybody, get the hold of it. Like with the regulations, you have to pass on.
That's right.
So you have mentioned, sir, that Snowflake is providing services to different kind of the clients, banks, NBFCs, and insurance companies as well. Like you have some sort of the AI development technologies and app sort of thing. Can you explain some of your insights about like how you presented it and what are the clientele you have?
Sure. So we work across pretty much all of the industry verticals you can think of. So BFSI, which is financial services, manufacturing, service sector, retail, digital natives, pretty much all of them. And so what we provide them is essentially a SaaS-based AI data cloud platform, which is a fully managed platform. What I mean by that is today, customers can focus on their core business. We say a bank. The core banking, their core focus should be on their customers and providing banking services, etc. What we provide, customers in different parts of different industries is a platform where they can actually host all their data in a secure, governed fashion. Data is growing at an unprecedented rate. Second is to apply innovation on top of that, on top of the data, so that they can, get insight. So today, you see, if you look at it, Vishwas, the biggest challenge which legacy organizations or old organizations, face today is the problem of data silos. You have HR data in one system, sales data in one system, manufacturing data in one system, etc. This data doesn't talk to each other.
Exactly.
So what Snowflake does is, as an AI data cloud, fully managed data cloud, we provide customers the option of bringing all of that data from different systems into Snowflake. And then once they've done that, they can unlock that value of the data by, for example, getting better insights and better analytics. Right? Otherwise, your data is sitting in different silos. You're actually not able to mix them around and get any advantage. So the first level is what we call as breaking data silos. Is that, you bring your data to the your Snowflake cloud and you can break those silos, get in one place, run better analytics on it, get better insights. The second level is we allow organizations to interact with their ecosystems. Right? So, you might be, say, an automobile manufacturer. And you have a big supply chain. Now, how can you share data with your supply chain seamlessly in a native fashion? That's something Snowflake can help unlock in terms of unlocking the value of sharing data with your ecosystem. The third level is helping enrich your data, which is the ability to utilize third-party data sets to enrich your own data. As an example, if you're an asset management company in financial services, you can, basically work with, say, a FactSet database or a data set or a LSEC data set or a Refinitiv data set to enrich your data and create better products and experiences for your customers. So that's the third piece, which Snowflake provides, which is, essentially data collaboration and sharing. Right? So breaking the data silos, collaboration, and then sharing of data. And that's a major unlock. Then your data is really talking. That's when you start actually making money on it and, start getting more value.
Exactly. So breaking down into 3 stages is a perfect thing for banks and NBFC especially, because they have a lot of the transaction in a day. I mean, recently we were just searching about a news like 16.4 billion transactions just have happened in the March throughout the accounting year.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's something every bank and every NBFC and every data company, like the person who is organizing a data, should require.
Yeah.
So what type of the clientele you have served? Like any examples if you can share? Like you have said about Bajaj Financial Services. Any other? Like
lots of them. I mean, right across the industry. I mean, both India and globally.
Okay.
But some interesting ones just to share. And since we are talking financial services, is Razorpay.
Okay.
Razorpay, as you know, is one of the largest payment aggregators in India, and they basically process loads of UPI transactions. Right? They have more than 100,000 e-commerce partners. They sort of service, and they're supposed to provide transactional data back to them. Right? And like you said, this transactional data is just going up and up. The volumes are going, completely through the roof. They actually have come out with a product called Data Sync. Whereby they are e-commerce partners. So if they've done some transactions through Razorpay, this information usually would have to be shared through ETLs, as we call it, or data pipelines and all, which takes a lot of effort and time. Now they can share that natively using the Snowflake data share feature which we have with any of these partners for fraud detection, for reconciliation, for reversals, those sort of things. So that's an example of awesome innovation which Razorpay is doing using the Snowflake data cloud. You would have organizations, for example, very interesting, very innovative organizations. There's a company called 𝐊𝐞𝐲. It's a startup in Mumbai. If you ever go to Bombay, you look at the public transport buses there, the best buses as they're called, you will see this logo of 𝐊𝐞𝐲 everywhere, right? Okay. And they're solving this amazing problem in about 60 Indian cities where you can use the 𝐊𝐲 app to figure out when the bus is coming to your bus stand, so you don't have to go and wait there.
Okay.
Right? You can even buy your tickets on the 𝐊𝐲 app. So and again, all of that these guys are doing on almost near real time on the Snowflake platform. Again, because they have the data.
Yes,
right?
Yes, exactly.
So you have some amazing use cases of that nature which we have there. We have organizations like Swiggy. Which are also operating off the Snowflake platform, and you can imagine the scale at which Swiggy operates, right?
Yes.
70-80 million consumers,
orders and
etc. Any point of time, you need to have. So, for example, you're doing driver routing for deliveries, etc.
Yes.
There's all of a sudden you see a big demand in a certain area. How do you move or make sure that drivers move towards that area? Yes. All that insights comes from data.
Exactly.
So that's where Snowflake excels. It could be any organizations of that nature. You have organizations who are bringing in a lot of SAP data in manufacturing to Snowflake and to get insights out of it, out there. So a huge number of examples, in that nature globally as well. We work with some of the largest organizations. We have about 750 of the world's largest, organizations which are currently working with Snowflake across different segments.
Okay. You have already mentioned about, data silos and all in the BFSI sector, to be specific. So one thing I face it, and I also used to say it, sir, because whenever we have to go at the bank and in order to get our statements and all, so they say there is a huge amount of transaction you have done and we can't print it on your passbook right now. So there is still a complexity into it.
Oh, yes.
And in a country like India, I think we are more focused towards the rigid information, not the digital one. We have not transformed really, but yeah. And so what are the things like BFSI sector or Snowflake, to be specific, is doing in order to, get through these complexities? Because basic ground level banking. Yeah. That's what I'm asking.
So, challenges do exist even now. I agree with you. I mean, and banking is such an important sector.
Yes.
It's also a sector which is very old in the sense that they have a lot of legacy. These banks have grown over 50, 60, maybe it's even 100 years.
Yes.
Where some of our largest public sector banks are more than 100 years old.
Yes, sir.
So they're sitting a lot of data. They're also sitting a lot of systems which have been built, incrementally year after year. So breaking the data silos, as we talked about, is not as easy. It's not just a question of technology. It's also process, culture.
Yes.
So you need to, in most organizations, when you do a data transformation, it's you have the technology side of things. You also have the people process side of things, which in our mind, a lot of it is top down. where you actually start building a data-driven culture so that people understand the value of data first level. And then they understand that, how do you actually take it to a level where you can break silos and take advantage of it. Simple things like getting your statement out should not be so difficult, right? It's a fairly simple problem. If you today go to an app, you order some food, you get your bill straight away. Everything gets served out. But then you need to understand that those organizations in that nature, which are digital natives, and we work with a very large set of those, are born in the cloud. Born in the cloud, they have the advantage of all these technologies like Snowflake, available there to serve out, outcomes in that fashion. For legacy organizations, it's a challenge of people and process as well, along with then moving the technology. So there is, their data is lying in different systems. There's a core banking system. There's a transaction system for, which serves your folks in the branch. All of that stuff, bringing it together and serving out. We know, and we are working with a number of banks who are actually working on that problem to make it far more, easier to sort of serve out. But what we do understand is pretty much all organizations in the financial services industry are looking to see how they can, transform their data estates and also apply AI on top of that. Because now with AI, you have the advantage of cutting through a lot of layers where you might have had to do a transformation journey over many years. You can now look at, say, generative AI.
Yes.
Right? Generative AI for transformations, which you couldn't have thought about earlier for, say, unstructured data. Now, what I mean by unstructured data is the world typically, has been working on structured and semi-structured data. Unstructured data is, just as a basic example, is PDF documents.
Okay.
Right? So, for example, there are code documents, you've created PDFs and put into your system. How can you search on them?
Exactly.
Now we have a very innovative insurance company, and they've already started experimenting on what we call as 𝐊𝐞𝐲, which is Snowflake's AI framework, to see how they can pick up these code documents and check out if there is a common witness across 5 different cases, right, for fraud detection.
Yes.
Things like that. So, which you could not have done earlier when you're looking at to go through millions of documents, right, PDFs, and searching in simple English language. That's possible now thanks to generative AI, LLMs, and something like 𝐊𝐞𝐲.
Yes. That's 𝐊𝐞𝐲 you especially mentioned about. I think that would be a great in blockchain market and cryptocurrencies market as well, because there is a lot of data set and a lot of the duplication is there. So I think that's the really good thing that Snowflake is producing. Thank you, sir. How do you see that enterprise data management system is moving forward in coming 3 to 5 years from now on? Because I think from 3 to 5 years from now, there would be a hell load of data.
Yes.
If we are talking about the current scenario, then in coming 3 to 5 years, there would be a, data rain. That would I say, all over the data will be, structured from the air, from everywhere. Yeah. So how enterprise management system is planning to get moving forward with that?
See, data volumes are continue. They'll continue to go up and up, right? Just the amount of digital which is happening means we'll transact more digitally. Our experiences will be more digital and AI driven, which will basically generate more data. Okay. So data management will continue to focus on a few things. The first is, how do you make data, the whole process of managing your data a little bit simpler, which is all about data interoperability, right?
Yes.
I won't go into the technicalities, but essentially it's about how do you, ensure that you are able to grow, your data estates will grow, but you can manage that without locking your data in. Right, into some systems. So it's very important that you have that ability of open table formats, we call it, so that you can actually, as your data estates grow, you can still manage it in a fashion which is reasonable. That's one piece. The second piece is around AI. Right. Okay. And second is, so basically getting outputs from your data. So data estates will grow. There will be systems, which like, for example, Snowflake has to ensure that, you manage the sizes of data and, all of those pieces. The next is getting output from that.
Yes.
And, giving AI experiences to, say, a customer's customer and those sort of things. That's again, something which with LLMs, etc., for example, you will be able to start working on unstructured data, you get different outcomes there. It's in the 3 to 5 years time, very difficult to predict. But I don't want to say that LLMs will take over the world and all of that. It's a very interesting evolving space. Yes. What I can tell you is that it will make life easier. In different ways. There will be more agentic frameworks, as we call it. There's going to be more, assistants, as different companies call it, digital assistants for different activities.
Yes.
All of that is going to happen. There's a whole lot of things which will be automated, which currently, is manual in nature. And it will, in every way, improve productivity. So there's a statistic which talks about India generating about, say, 38 million, generating or rather transforming 38 million jobs by 2030 because of AI. Right. And the reason they're saying so is essentially productivity increases and all of that. So service sector is going to be one sector which will be transformed immensely with generative AI.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So all in all, data and AI are going to drive, large scale enterprise transformation across different industries. But, it will also help, our planet, which is growing, you look at the population today, 8.5 billion people, right?
Yes.
And we continue growing. It'll help, solve problems at a scale which we could not have done earlier if we didn't have this technology, right?
Yes.
May it be in healthcare, may it be in agriculture, may it be in smart cities. For a growing, planet and a country like us, you mentioned in the beginning we are a data-driven country. Technology like this is absolutely imperative to solve some of those big scale problems.
Yes.
So all in all, I think I'm very bullish. I think, what AI can solve for, massive use cases, especially for India, can transform the country going ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And at last, sir, I just wanted for my viewers and to ask, some unique sort of information or some exclusive part of the information you want to share with us about the BFSI sector or about the data-driven economy like India is currently facing and the transaction of India is having, number of transaction India is having right now. So do you have any sort of exclusive sort of information you want to share with us on our platform?
I can tell you, like I said, I've been related to the FSI, business and sector for a while now.
Okay.
It is going to be foundational for India's, transformation, as we move from a developing country of this scale to a developed country, right?
Yes.
Financial inclusion is the biggest challenge which is being addressed right now. So thanks to, the government's digital public goods framework, the India stack, UPI, yes. You mentioned the number of transactions which are happening.
Yes.
It is just the amount of people we are now including into the economy. And again, all of this is driven through simple mobile phones and digital, yes. Right? So it's extremely, heartening to see the way India is growing at the back of digital. We are including people who are not there in the formal banking system, thanks to things like UPI, account aggregator framework, which the government is building out as well. So a lot of that actually is driven by technology in the back end. You also see that the ecosystem is evolving. So you got the formal banking system, insurance, and the NBFCs. You also have a whole ecosystem of fintechs coming around it, right?
Yes.
To help serve a country of our size. So in my mind, if you are looking for something exclusive, yes. The fact is that, India will transform, at the back of our financial services, and which will basically transform at the back of, things like data and AI, yes. And innovations happening in that field.
Yes, very good point, sir, has mentioned about fintech companies here, like the number of companies and startups are in fintech especially are growing. If we talk about Karnataka, Mumbai, Delhi, yes. So every state is now fintech oriented because they want their data in order to be specific, structured way and presented in a more good way.
That's true.
So thank you so much for your precious time, and we'll look forward to it and meeting you again soon, sir.
Thank you, Vishwas. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed this interaction. Look forward to catching up again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks.